This video is brought to you by MagicJank.com, the spiciest cards for your sauciest decks. Buy and sell Magic the Gathering products and gear today on MagicJank.com. What is up, Janksters? It's your boy Graham, also known as HamHawks42 on the internet, and today I want to talk about a fun card that has a special place in my heart, and that is Colossus Hammer. So the reason that I want to talk about Colossus Hammer today is not necessarily that the card itself is in some way particularly amazing, but in fact, I want to talk about it because of the way it has kind of converged in my life in the last couple of weeks. So 2 weeks ago was MagicCon Philadelphia. So this was my first Magic convention as a content creator, and honestly, it was my first convention of any kind. Like, full stop. Outside of, like, I've gone to trade shows for various jobs, I suppose, but, like, as far as being a nerd who enjoys this nerdy thing and going to a convention and sharing my nerdery with other nerds, it was the first time I'd done that. I've never been to a Comic-Con before, and I've never been to any of those. And so I was stepping in, kind of jumping into the deep end, and as an established content creator, I've been making content on Twitch primarily, but also here on YouTube for 3 years now. And I recently reached, like, Twitch partner status. Like, so I'm a kind of a known person. Well, not exactly a big deal. I got a long way to go on that front, but I was entering this space as somebody of at least some note, and I wanted to make sure that I had business cards to hand out while I was there. So what a lot of people will do is they'll create custom tokens and hand those out to people. So that's kind of fun. So, like, all right, you're about to be playing some games, so if you need a custom treasure token, here you go. Or here's like a human token with my face on it that happens to be a human. Okay, cool. Like, neat. That's a fun idea, and I like it a lot, actually. Like, mad props to everybody doing that. Good work. But I decided to do something a little bit different. And what I wanted to do was take a card, like an actual Magic the Gathering card that is meaningful to me, and purchase them and sign them and hand them out as kind of my business card. And I ended up doing exactly that with Colossus Hammer. So if you were at MagicCon Philly, you may have gotten one of these, and if you didn't, like, please hit me up, because honestly, like, well, I don't have as many of them now, and we're gonna get to, and that might become harder. I'm gonna let you know why. But if you had one of those, awesome. It was cool to do. It was cool to see people and be able to give them a little memento, and that was neat. Then I come home the following week, and my area got hit with a massive ice storm. And I don't mean snowstorm, I mean ice storm, as in it rained really heavily and then froze very quickly. And as a result, power lines and trees were down all over my whole county. We got completely devastated. Here in southern Michigan, if you were affected by that storm, my heart goes out to you. I know there are a lot of people, as of this recording, who still don't have power, which is it's mind-blowing. But we were without it for 4 whole days, and as a result, I wasn't really keeping up with a lot of the news and a lot of the content that was out there. Well, I find out today, because as I'm getting caught up on things, that Colossus Hammer recently had a massive spike in price. Now, I don't usually talk about finance on this channel, but I find it amazing that I selected Colossus Hammer as my business card because when I purchased these, they were about $1.20 a piece. So, like, all right, I know I'm going to spend 50, 60 bucks. I'm going to get a handful of these cards. I'm going to sign them. I'm going to put a little QR code so people can find my link tree, and I'm going to give those out as my business cards. Cool. And that's probably enough. I may run out, but we'll make it do. We'll make it happen. At about $1.20, $1.25, it's an investment, but it's not bad. Well, it turns out some printings of Colossus Hammer, including the game day free-for-all printing, which I purchased as that was primarily the one I got because it was the cheapest when I bought it, is now listed in some places for as much as $8. And apparently, the reason for this is because in Explorer and Pioneer, people are building Hammer Time decks, which only work if the Colossus Hammer is present. You can't play Hammer Time without a hammer on the board. It's the namesake of the deck, and the whole deck is designed around getting this onto a creature far earlier than maybe you should, and being able to deliver a kill shot with it. That's the whole point of the deck. And so apparently people are running it in Pioneer now, which was a thing that never happened before. And so as a result, a whole new market opened up for this card, which is one of a kind. You know, well, I mean, there are millions printed, I'm sure, but this is the only card in Magic that has this particular set of skills. It provides a massive stat boost that is just unparalleled. +10/+10 is absurd, and its casting cost is only 1. So, like, I've tried using, Maul of the Skyclaves or Great Axe or some other, like, equipment to try to get similar effects down. Nothing works like it. Colossus Hammer is very unique and very special. So, I adore the fact that I ended up handing out over 40 of these Colossus Hammers at MagicCon Philadelphia. And now there are probably about 40 or some odd content creators walking around with this at least crisp, Abraham Lincoln in their pocket that I handed them at the convention. I think it's pretty cool, and my name's on it, which is neat. So I gotta say, I absolutely adore that. I think this is just fun, and I wanted to share. So Colossus Hammer, it's legit. It's a real deal. It's very expensive all of a sudden, and I kind of love that. For an uncommon that has been reprinted a number of times, there is something very special about this card. And Wizards, if you want to reprint it a million more times, please do, because it's a great card. And I want as many as I can to hand out to people. You'll note, like, the background for this shot that I'm showing right now on the on the YouTube is Colossus Hammer, but honestly, I run Colossus Hammer as the background for almost all of my straight-to-camera stuff that I do for, like, tournament coverage, or if I'm doing, like, an editorial and I don't necessarily need a card up. I usually run Colossus Hammer as my background. I also have Colossus Hammer as one of my emotes on Twitch, is a pig carrying the hammer. I adore this card. I think it's fantastic, and I love that more decks and more players are finding uses for it. I just think that's cool. So if you enjoyed this video, enjoyed this whole story, and want to hear more anecdotes from my magical life, or you want to hear my analysis on individual cards, you can do that by clicking the subscribe button here on the YouTubes. I also have a podcast, the Overthinking MTG podcast, where I talk about an individual card for, 10 minutes or so, and we update that a couple of times a week. That's available here on YouTube as well, or or anywhere you get your podcasts. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you on the next one.